All right. Is this thing on? Hopefully, we're live now. By the way, Celeste, this is our first stream on our Sales on Tap channel. We met that threshold. So, uh, we're growing. This is great. We're also on YouTube. So, we're going to wait a few minutes here and see who pops in. So,
I'm going to look at our Sales on Tap live. So, fun fact for all of those hoteliers out there, if you have over 150 followers on your hotel page, you too can be going live from your hotel LinkedIn page with some nifty
ooh,
tools like Restream. We can give you a little pointer on how to set that up, but I think that's worthy of saying for anybody who's watching. These are all these little tidbits we share inside Sales on Tap because we have to differentiate ourselves. And something that I think sellers don't realize is imagine going live at an event that you're hosting, which maybe Dana would peep in on, and you're showcasing it on LinkedIn, things that you're doing, a cool setup. So just a little plug there.
absolutely. The algorithm loves lives. I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes because there's no editing capabilities. But that's part of the fun of it, right, Dana?
Right. It's like real time. It's like it's like being on site in the event, it's in real time. You got to just go with the flow and take it as it comes. So
Absolutely.
happy to be here with you for your first it's not the first live stream, it's your first on the channel.
Yep. Yeah, we've had what, two before? Oh, do you see it live? So
Two before, yes. So our company page, it's again, it is tough to get followers to your company page. Not many people are out there like, I'm dying to follow a company page. No, we buy from people, we trust people, we find people credible. The brands kind of come second to that. So we had to get followers to our page in order to be able to do that. So here we are.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You're down in my neck of the woods here in San Diego. And
I am, yeah.
Ooh. I could use San Diegan weather. It's like 55 here today. So I was in Dallas yesterday. It was in like 95. So I'm ready for some warmer weather to come this way.
Yeah, it's beautiful today. It kind of rained a little bit over the weekend, but it didn't really rain. It was just, wet in the morning, and that was about it. So I know we probably need the rain, but I prefer the sun.
Me as well. I get all moody when it's all gray out. I'm not sure how the people in Seattle, Portland, it would weigh on me a bit. So yeah, bring on the sun. Hotter the better.
I agree.
Well, you guys want to jump in here?
Let's do it.
I'll do a quick tee up because we have Dana Nitty. Apologize. She's a co-owner at San Diego Event Productions here in San Diego. I had mentioned. Welcome to our live on Sales on Tap, Dana.
Thank you. So it's actually SD Event Production. So just wanted to create that to make sure people can find us if they need to.
I'm really messing this whole thing up, and I can't edit it as we mentioned before. So I apologize.
That's okay.
All right. So we, ladies, are going to talk about what planners are really looking for in hotels. So hopefully Dana is going to spill the tea for us, and we're going to jump right in here with this first question. When you're evaluating hotels, what are the first things that you look at before reaching out or submitting that all important RFP?
Yeah, well, probably just like everyone, the internet is my friend. ChatGPT is my friend when doing some sourcing, just to get the preliminary information. Because sometimes ChatGPT, who I call Janet, she will give me more information, different information, and we'll do deep dives comparing different hotels. So So I kind of start there, and for me, it's more about the experience I'm trying to create. Of course, we need the meeting space, and we need the meeting rooms, the availability, and the size. But really, it's about the experience I want to create for my guests. And is that venue going to also meet the mission, the objectives, and the agenda of the meeting or event? So I start online, looking, at photos, seeing how close it is from the airport, because based on, the agenda, based on what we're doing, are we shuttling people? Are people on their own? So the internet can really give you a lot of information, preliminary information that you need. Hopefully, on their website, they have at least capacity charts, and they have, a little bit more information about what's available around. So I'm kind of really trying to get a feel. Is it walkable? Is it, what's the feel? What's the vibe? And is it going to fit with really the mission, the objectives, and the agenda of our meeting or event?
Wonderful. What great intel. And you said that I know Celeste wants to jump in here, but I know we're gonna both are thinking about your reference to ChatGPT and how you're doing some of that preliminary research up front. So Celeste, I'm sure you're just itching to ask her a follow-up question there on that. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Yes, and I apologize. I like my lighting. I got to work in this lighting situation. We're finding that there's a huge disconnect between, shocker, marketing and sales when it comes to this shift of an AI engine going out to scour information that then is fed back to you. You talked about capacity charts, photos, right? Getting a feel. Is it walkable? Like just the information, the research that used to take us a really long time. I started in hospitality in 2008. So obviously things have changed as far as tools, resources, just access to information at the speed of light. The disconnect is that marketing is heavily focused. You'll see a lot of posts on this about like AI readiness and all the schema, like stuff I don't even know, but basically what's powering those AI engines to go and pull that information. Now, what we are finding is most sellers don't understand that their own personal brand, information that they are sharing, frequently asked questions, conversations can also help with the ranking and what is produced back to you as someone who is looking at that. So I guess my question after a little bit of that, because we're finding sellers don't understand, like they also have to be contributing. Are you finding that just in your vast knowledge, some hotels are not showing up in a search and you thought that they would have? And either they're not making the short list or you're physically having to go and include them because chat didn't serve that up to you?
Yes, I do find that, but I find that I also have to get a little bit more specific with Janet and let her know, yeah, and and ask and say, okay, like, like I need, like be a little bit more specific what I'm looking for. Ask to do a deeper dive, ask to look, like at the reviews and things like that. And that kind of gives me a little bit more, but there are some times that I'm like, okay, I've never heard of any of these hotels, or I've never heard of any of these vendors. And it is so, it's like, yeah, they're not rating because they're not doing their job on their side. So yeah, sometimes you have to get a little bit more specific or do a deeper dives or say, okay, I know that this hotel is in that area. Can you also give me information on this hotel?
But is it safe to assume, and then I'll punt it back to Corey, that because you are you're seasoned in the space, you are aware of the hotels that aren't showing up?
Yes.
So is it safe to say that a novice planner, someone who's an executive assistant or on the marketing team who has now been sent, go find us venues, would completely skip over viable options because AI did not produce that in a search.
Yes, in that sense, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, because you have to give the prompts, and you have to understand what you're asking.
Yeah. And you have a
Yeah.
lot of years of experience in the local markets and
Right.
understanding what's there, but many people don't.
Yeah, right, right. And knowing like, okay, I'm looking for a convention property versus I'm looking for a luxury property and things like that. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't know, yeah, it would be a lot harder and you would not get, some of the hotels popping up that should. Yeah.
Wonderful. Dana,
No.
another quick question before we move on to number 2, though. Do you find what you're doing right now has changed the way that you're sourcing venues? For instance, the traditional is tee up the RFP, spray it out to 20 properties, see who comes back with the return. Do you see yourself, because you're doing the pre-research, that you're not sending out the RFPs like you used to because you've deemed it down, you've curated it down? What is I see you shaking your head. Can you explain a little?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And especially, in San Diego because I do have so many personal connections in San Diego also. I'm definitely being able to go directly to those hotels that I know that I want to an RFP from instead
Yep.
of getting RFPs just from everyone. When I'm sourcing outside of San Diego, maybe, say Atlanta or Chicago that I'm not as familiar with, I will broaden it a little bit more just so I can get information from hotels that I think maybe wouldn't fit, but maybe they could, and I just don't know because I don't have, firsthand experience with the hotel. But I think it is, you're not sending it out to 50 people, 50 hotels now, you're sending it out maybe to, half of that for sure.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
It cuts down on everyone's time,
Totally.
really.
Now,
Yeah.
now, do you see yourself going direct more versus third party then? Would that also be
Um, Sometimes, especially locally, unless it's something like very, very specific,
Hmm,
then I will, reach out to one of, my hotel sourcing partners.
sure.
Or if it is outside of, San Diego, but I'll still do the research first on my own.
Well, this is a great segue into
Yeah.
question 2 because this is going to be Celeste. This is probably one of your faves. When a hotel team reaches out, do you ever look them up, uh, them as a salesperson, the brand, before responding? And what are you hoping to see in terms of that person?
Yeah, so of course, just like everyone else, yeah. Maybe not so much the brand, especially because we know if it's a Marriott brand or a Hilton brand, or we usually know the brands, but the salesperson for sure. One, I want to see, is there anyone else in my connections that know this person? And if so, I'll probably reach out to them to see if they have any, personal experience with them. Um, and then, I want to see that they're professional. Um, is it going to change my mind on maybe still getting an RFP from them? Probably not if the venue is still, a viable option. But I like to go into the conversation kind of knowing, having some background of the person for sure.
What do you
Wonderful.
mean? Help us understand what you mean by see if they're professional. Like what does
Like, so
professional
is
mean
their
to you?
picture, do they have a professional picture? Yeah, or is it, them cheersing, which,
Mhm.
isn't a bad picture. Everybody
Sure.
has a drink and cheers their colleagues, but that's, probably for your Facebook or your, you know, uh Instagram page. So are they showing up professionally? Do they have the experience? I will look at their past
Mm,
experience to see if they have experience. It's, like going in, to a seasoned person, a representative from the hotel is always kind of like to know what I'm walking into. Is the person seasoned or are they new? Because if and not that it's bad, everyone needs to start somewhere, but a lot of times the seasoned hoteliers are going to have a lot more knowledge um, and we've just, we say we, because I'm, in that seasoned area too, but we've just seen more, and know more. Not that it's better one way or the other, but I just like to know what I'm walking into.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
you had mentioned it may not change your mind if the venue fit, but if you deemed their profile untrustworthy, would that be a different call?
I might ask to speak with someone else.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, if the property, if it was, a good property and it looked like it really fit, and, especially if the client was like, no, I want to work here,
Hmm,
I would definitely probably go, to, someone higher up and see if I could speak with them.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Celeste, anything more to add on that one? Long pause.
Beyond a photo and potentially experience, not experience, should somebody be pumping out content? Let's say you stumble across a senior sales manager and they're talking about, maybe it's in San Diego, 5 hidden gems that most planners may not have heard of in San Diego. This is how our property helps to ensure, the last 5 ESS surveys all got whatever ranking, 5 stars and above. I'm making all this up. What is content from the perspective of lived experience from a hotel seller? How does that weigh in when you're like assessing their credibility? Do I need to go to somebody else? How do I pass this along to my contact to help them feel more comfortable that they're going to be taken care of? Like at the end of the day, it can be an amazing hotel and it can be a crap experience, right? Because service, because the staff that works there, because of all the BEO misses. So I'm curious where that weighs in when you start looking at somebody's credibility, their professionalism, their know-how from a content perspective. If you're glancing at that, how does that resonate with you if they're speaking to that stuff versus not?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it definitely shows that they, are an expert in, either in their hotel or in, um, the surrounding areas. I don't think it would turn me off on still going to the hotel, because I feel like as a planner, I need to do my due diligence. And, it's not just one person who carries the hotel. So, I would still, move forward. Um, and, but with caution, obviously, but I think that, okay, so maybe, they're not great on, they don't do a great job at LinkedIn, but that doesn't carry across the whole hotel. But I will say, when you see someone, you're like, oh, this person, definitely, like they look like an expert, or they sound like an expert. They're talking about, what they can do around the area. They're putting up feed out, or putting out, posts, and they're, talking with other, partners within the industry. Like, you can tell that they're collaborative. That definitely, is a plus.
And that's a great segue actually into question 3, because we touched on that a little bit here. So I guess early on, um, staying top of mind, and then the question would be, what makes one hotel or the sales team in particular feel more credible or trustworthy early on in the process?
Yeah, I think every time that I am sourcing a vendor or a venue, I'm going to work with anyone, I want a partnership.
Mm,
And so, I mean, that's the first and foremost, because as a planner, I'm only as good as my venue and my vendors.
Right.
I have to make sure I'm selecting the right ones. So, if right off the bat, there I'm feeling collaboration, I'm feeling a partnership. I'm not getting, they're not, the emails coming back to me aren't just copy and paste, and it's like they
Mm.
actually are taking the time um, to respond to me, and ask the questions, that they may need, and get on a phone call, and, things like that. Um, that's always, you know, puts a good feeling, gives me a good feeling to starting out, right from the jump. Even if, so I know a lot of hotels, they service by territory. So even if it's not your territory, sending me an email and saying, hey, it's not my territory, but I'm, passing you off to this person, being communication. Because I've had, where I've sent it to someone and don't hear back from them, and I'll follow up with them a few days later, like, oh, it's not my territory, but so and
Mhm.
so will follow up with you. Well, like being that proactive and um, you know, just like, it might not be your job, but at least you're connecting the pieces.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so that's definitely something that we've heard from a couple of our partners that we're trying to work with is this lack of follow-up, I'll say.
Hmm.
So sellers receiving an RFP, getting an inquiry, and then really leaving the planner hanging, or the follow-up is so generic and seller focused, checking in, following up, bumping this to top, haven't heard from you, where are you, what's the decision,
Hmm.
versus how can I help you? Thought this might be valuable. Hey, FYI, this is happening during your time when you're looking here. Your
Yeah.
attendees may enjoy this, whether you work with us or not. What kind of a turnoff is it when you're getting generic? I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but like that generic messaging from sellers, and what do they need to do to tweak it so it does land and resonate a bit more?
Yeah, because when you get that generic email back, you just feel like they're just checking the boxes. They're just like, trying to get through one more email, which I get it. We're all busy. We're all trying to get through one more email. Um, but it just only takes a few extra minutes to actually really personalize um, your messages. So, and then another thing is just kind of sending something back that is not custom to my proposal. So again, it's that template. It's like, okay, well,
Mhm.
I didn't ask for all of these things. Like, you're giving me things I didn't ask for,
Right.
and it makes me, like, that's great if,
Mhm.
like, are you trying to upsell me? But we haven't even talked yet. So you
Mhm.
don't even know anything really about me except for, the numbers that I've sent you, and a little bit of information, but you're not able to, how are you able to put together a proposal without actually having some sort of communication with me?
Yes.
Um,
But
yeah.
also, I mean, it's almost like a double-edged sword here, right? I see a lot of content on LinkedIn where planners, unfortunately, will submit RFPs as they don't contact the planner. It has very limited information. And then a seller who actually doesn't just want to check the box and send back an RFP, like they want to try to get information. The planner will say, don't call me. I don't want to call. Like it. So I think we're in this
Um,
space of there
yeah.
are sellers that like truly want to understand. Tell me more about this event. What are they trying to accomplish? What does good look like? How are they going to be measured on this event? Like what is the outcome they're looking to drive to? But without that information, we're not having a discussion. There's not a
Yeah.
back and forth. So like what is happening in the industry? It's like we want sellers to be good and help you, but also there's a lot of times where planners like keep everything so close to the vest, it inhibits the sales conversation.
Yeah, I do. And I've seen that before personally as a planner. Like, the more information I can give you,
Mm.
the better proposal I'm going to get. And
Okay.
that helps me then sell it to, to my client. Um, or to my CEO or whoever I might be working with. But yeah, I mean, I think that again, people are busy. I think that there's a generation that doesn't like to talk on the phone. Um, yeah. But I will be like, okay, like I need to pick up the phone and talk to someone. That's my generation probably. But there's a whole generation who doesn't want to talk on the phone. They want emails. Um, so for me, that's not what I like. That's not what serves me the best. So as a planner, I do think it's my job to make sure that I am giving them the information they need to be able to give me the best proposal possible. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. We had learned from working with one of our global sales teams that he used the term anesthetizing their salespeople, where oftentimes planners would price shop with RFPs and knowing full well that the business it was ghost business.
Yeah.
We're seeing a little so I can see it on that side, and then from your planner side, what a weird dynamic, right?
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think that I'm sure that happens. I know that happens to us too with, when we get inquiries, and it's like, I think, people are price shopping and everybody wants to do, kind of wants to get the best deal out there, especially now. But I think I don't, that's not the way that I work really.
Awesome.
I don't do the price shopping like that. And that's why I go online and do my research in advance. Or if it's an area I don't know, I'll reach out to someone who, a professional who has more experience or might have the database that reaches further, and working with, work with a third planner. For me, it's all about the client and the client experience and what's going to be best for them. And so I always have that in the back of my mind.
Wonderful. So it's kind of exciting to see that if more of planners like you that are savvy and are using Janet
Yes.
to do that a little bit of pre-planning, it is going to cut down on the noise on both sides, I would think, right?
I think so. I mean, I feel like it already does on my end.
Nice.
And it just kind of helps me decide which way to go, so I'm not just throwing everything out there, it out to everyone, because not everyone's going to be a good fit.
Right.
So
Wonderful.
yeah.
To wrap this up, I'm sure you've got some amazing practical advice, and if you were to give just one practical thing hotels could do to attract more planners, what would that be?
I would say, again, it's all about relationships. It's all about being like your partnership. So be proactive instead of reactive. Well, I'm saying don't give me something I don't need. Tailor it to what I'm asking for, but then also give me other ideas, because you're the expert at your property. If I say, like, so be proactive and trying to be a partner for the client, because I'd much rather work with someone who is proactive and is being a partner and sending me floor plans and all this stuff without me having to ask for it. I would rather work with someone like that. So if I'm going to and if I'm looking at 3 different hotels and I go back to the client and I say, okay, all things being equal, they were super, they were super proactive. They communicated. I never felt like, I wasn't going to, even if they weren't going to meet the deadline, they were reaching out to me. I feel like our overall experience is going to be better here. Then, it's like you're still looking at everything, but at least, that I'm going to give that input to whoever is making that decision. Because a lot of times I'm not the one making the decision, but I'm the one going to, the person making the decision and giving them all the details and giving them my feedback.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Russ, anything more you want to add there before we wrap this up?
So I have like 2 quick things, like rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Thoughts on sellers. Okay, no, I'm going to back up. How many times have you received something customized, like a little video DM or a voice note DM or something that sets a seller apart from anybody else? Like, does that happen in your world?
You mean, so give me, so like a DM,
so like on LinkedIn, where maybe someone is saying like a little video and they're introducing themselves. They're not asking you for business. They're making that introduction. Maybe it's a little voice note, like something that goes above and beyond. Do you have any business for me?
I don't get those.
Sellers, are you
I'm all, give me an example, because I don't.
Okay, so that's one. Second, would love like a quick thought on AI RFP tools are coming to the market. I just saw a post for a Seattle property that is hiring a business development, 100% hunter. Corey and I and Susan at Sales on Tap are trying to help sellers understand the importance of being proactive, building their own pipeline, not waiting for the RFP, how to get on the short list. What are your thoughts on AI RFP tools? You don't have to track people down for information, like getting that information in a few hours. Like, I'm sure there's talk around it in your circles. What does that look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a great tool. And it helps cut down on time, but I think that you still have to do your due diligence and not completely rely on AI, because it's not always completely accurate. It also, AI can't give you a feeling, so like you get the data, but it doesn't give you a feeling. It doesn't give you a vibe. It doesn't, like you can't tell whether, there's no personality in it. So I think that as planners, we still need to, it's a tool, and I would use it as a tool, but I would still make those connections, as well.
So when you say it's missing the vibe and are you saying that sellers should add that additional layer on top? Can you maybe clarify a little bit more about that? Because that's interesting. So are you using a tool like that right now, or have you gotten?
I'm not, but
Okay.
but I would, but it's like, it can't tell me, like, it's giving me data, right? So
Yep.
it just kind of like my own, like what I'm doing. Um, but I'm not getting anything more than just the RFP information. So I'm not getting any, what is the hotel? Is it, if when I walk in, am I going to be treated with 5-star service at a 3-star hotel? Or, am I going to be treated, like a 1-star service at a 4-star hotel? So
Hmm.
you don't really get the, like the personality of the hotel. I
But
guess
how
they'll
are
say
you getting that? How are you getting that personality now through an RFP response from a hotel? Like
oh,
what would
from a well, and so they're going to give me all that information, but if if the seller isn't just sending the RFP, and they're also personalizing
Mm.
their emails and their communications, and they're reaching out, even if it's through a system, and being like, hey, I know you submitted an RFP. I would love to hop on a call with you. I sent it to you. I know that, you needed it back on this date. I sent it to you, but I would still love to hop on a call.
yeah.
And make sure we're hitting, all the marks for you. Is there anything we're missing? What can we do? um you know those kind of things.
Yeah. So I think it's
So we're
right.
keeping those relationships in the partnership.
We're having responses now that are just a response to get it out the door. Then you're seeing responses that have a level of personalization. I think
Yes.
AI tools will get a response faster, probably more thorough, because it's able to pull from so much more information than we can as a human. But the cherry on top that we're trying to solve for is really building and understanding your buyer, what's going on, building your personal brand, being credible. How about sending a proposal and then having a video attached to it of like, this is
Yeah.
our team, this is what we're going to do. Like,
Something
There's
like
your
that.
vibe.
Yes. Yeah,
yeah.
there's your vibe. Yeah, like
Huh.
there's your personality.
So no hotel sellers ever sent you a video of any sort?
I don't think so.
Wow. I mean, I'm not totally
I'm like,
conclusive.
yeah, now I'm like, I need to go back and look, but
Well, if it
not that
doesn't stand
stands
out,
out.
it's not
Yeah, not that
happening. It's
stands
not like
out. Yeah.
the norm. Yes. And I
Yeah.
think it like everybody is attached to this. It is so easy to
Yeah.
personalize things these days. So it is our goal that hopefully when we chat next, you do receive some of that.
Yeah.
Because that personalization, especially out there in hotels, like they have such curated F&B experiences and like such unique ideas on property, and everybody's trying to differentiate. Like we
Yeah.
have to pull that through to our buyers to be able to show them. And I think that's this we're at this juxtaposition where like sellers have to think like marketers, and we hope that we're able to do
Yeah.
that for them. And we appreciate that you sharing like, no, I don't receive that and I want to.
Yeah. I love that. I might take that that little tidbit and do it, for myself and for our
Oh,
company,
yes,
like,
totally.
we're bidding on things as well, on clients as well. And so, they want to see
Ooh,
it's
yes.
hard for them, to see our personality. And there's sometimes that the client doesn't want to get on a call. They just want
Right,
the information, like you
yes,
were saying. So
agreed.
this would be a
Mhm.
great tool, um, to be able to send along, you know.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I
Before
love the idea.
Well, before we break, actually, we have kind of one question, very kind of in the same lines of that. Um, we know the hospitality industry is obsessed with Yelp, TripAdvisor on the leisure side,
Mhm.
yet there's very little of that on the group side, which is really an interesting dynamic because oftentimes these sales are 5-6 figures pieces of business.
Mhm.
I'm assuming reviews, video testimonials, does that come into, do you try and look for that type of thing on the group side?
Actually, I do.
You do.
I do. So I will, I will look at the reviews. If, of course, it's going to be different, obviously, on the group side, but then
Sure.
that's also where you can reach out to my partners, my other colleagues, who, has anyone stayed here before? But yeah, you're right. There isn't really a Yelp for group
Mhm.
sales, but,
If you
um,
if you were to see video testimonials from a successful event on their website, do you think that that would be of value to you?
I do think it would be a value.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have a whole lot of uh, engagement on our questions here, Celeste.
No, our
So
our Maya, who's usually on it, it's at
I
a
know,
conference today, so she's deep in conference. Usually bubbles up some questions, but
but you know
it's
what? We got some great content here because we're going to be dripping this out, Dana, through the entire month. You probably get sick of seeing all three of our faces through the entire month of May on this same topic. So,
Great.
yes, we
um,
appreciate it.
yeah,
Great. Yep.
before we break though, could you tell us what you've been up to lately? A little bit about your company, SC Event Productions, not San Diego.
Yeah. I know. I
And
know.
then where can people find you?
Sure. Yeah. It's tricky because the SD, you would just assume, um, it is San Diego, but it actually stands for Shannon and Dana.
Oh,
Shannon is
there we go. I love that. That's
Shannon is
great.
my business partner.
Okay.
And so yeah, so it's it's kind of twofold. So it stands for Shannon and Dana. We are, we've been doing a lot of getting some great inquiries coming up for Comic-Con, which is always fun. We're working on something that's a little bit under wraps right now, but we're super excited about it for Comic-Con. So we're doing working on like build out and branding for for a major company. And also, we've got a couple smaller meetings that we're working on as well at different locations throughout San Diego. So we're keeping busy, but we could always use more inquiries. Um, I have also, over the last couple of months, started teaching at SDSU in the Hospitality and Tourism Management program.
What? My
Um,
daughters go there.
Oh my gosh, well, you have to tell me more about it. So
Oh
I
my
just
God, that's
I was
amazing.
subbing I was subbing for a teacher who was out sick. So I kind of went in mid term or mid semester and we're just, ending, but it has been an amazing experience and I really hope that the teacher comes back because I don't want her to be ill, but I would love the opportunity to teach again. It's so rewarding to
Oh,
see
no.
these students and their enthusiasm for the industry. It's been a lot of fun. Um,
Wonderful.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you'll have to follow up and let me know who they are
yeah,
and what they do.
what a small world.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And then
Um,
Dana, yeah, where can people find you anyways?
yeah. So we are at SD Event Production, no S's.com. So you can find us on our website, and then we also I'm on LinkedIn at Dana Nitty. CMP on LinkedIn, and we also are on LinkedIn. Our business is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you joining us. Celeste,
Yeah,
any parting words here?
No, appreciate the insights, and hello, sellers. Personalization, relevance, get your name out there. I think that's what we've learned today, because still in this age of AI and how great it all is, attaching our personal spin on it, our vibe, if you will, is going to help set you apart, but also make you memorable. So,
Well, it's twofold. It's going to help set you apart with Dana because the bar is so low, it's in the basement.
yeah.
But those signals are going to help you get on Dana's short list early on.
Yes,
So,
because she's a smart cookie, right? She's been
Yep.
around. So she knows if somebody is missing off of a short list that she needs to show her client. Not everybody knows that because they don't have the years in the seat to be all knowing of properties that are out there. So like your property, we have something that you can test to see your property's visibility, what it's going to pick up. Like this is a problem that's out there. I don't think people understand how big of a problem it is, but when they start seeing where is the how was this group in the market and we didn't get the RFP to bid on this, they will realize most of the time it's coming because an agent, an AI search engine basically did not pull the information through.
Indeed.
Yes,
Fun
very
fact, tomorrow I will be taking the stage at the San Diego County Lodging Association luncheon to talk about this very topic. So I can't wait to report back and hopefully say I didn't make a fool of myself on stage.
All right, well, take care, and everybody who's
All right.
watching, we so appreciate it. If you haven't built out your LinkedIn profile, we have a free tool that you can access through Sales on Tap, our Modern Essentials certification. It is FREE, about 30 minutes that helps you dip your toe into what's changed. How do I build my brand? So Dana looks at your profile and actually thinks, wow, this person is credible and professional. I'm excited to chat with them when I go on property. So we have that for you for free.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you, ladies.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great rest of the week.
You too.
All right,
Bye.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.